Oregon's Department of Transportation is the agency that oversees and controls much of our statewide transportation system. Earlier this week, the Oregon House approved their budget for the next 2 years. It's now waiting for the Senate, which is not meeting because of the Republican boycott, but we are not going to get into that here, at least not right now. At some point, state budgets will get passed, and when ODOT is finally approved, it's likely going to include $19 million worth of new fees and a glimpse of the future. First, let's take a look at the big numbers. The Department of Transportation has a budget of more than $5.7 billion and 4,900 employees. It's a vast agency. The House-approved budget is an increase of 12% from what it would take to keep things running at the current level. Most of that money comes from the federal government, the Oregon Lottery, or from people who pay fees to ODOT through places like the DMV. So, yes, taxpayer money, but no, not too much from the general fund. About $17 million, which is not nothing, but it is small for the size of this agency. One way ODOT makes money is through the gas tax. It's 38 cents a gallon right now. The federal government, by the way, tax on another 18 cents a gallon. Thank you very much. This coming January, the state gas tax will go up by an additional 2 cents a gallon. But ODOT leaders worry that's not nearly enough to stave off money troubles. Here's a lovely table from ODOT's April revenue forecast. The yellow line across the top there shows how much money ODOT expects to get from the gasoline tax. It does not include that extra 2 cents a gallon bump. It's expected to be $657 million this year, and then climb a bit to next year, $658 million, and then it starts to fall. The red numbers under each year there show how much the forecast has changed from just 6 months earlier, so it's a lot. In 2031, there on the right, ODOT expects the gas tax to bring in about $604 million. That's more than $50 million less than was estimated just 6 months before this report. And overall, it's $54 million less than they expect to collect this year. So that's a big problem for them. The gas tax goes into something called the State Highway Fund. This ODOT graph shows it's expected to hit zero this year, then bounce up to $40 million next year before falling and being in the red again by 2026. This is not a new problem, by the way. Folks who study this sort of thing knew it's coming as cars and trucks got more efficient and hybrid and electric vehicles used less or maybe no gas. And yes, I hear you electric vehicle owners saying you do pay a much higher registration fee to cover the lost gas tax. I know you do. Still, it's not enough. Rick Metzger served in the Oregon legislature until 2011 and was the chair of the Senate Transportation Committee. He says this problem is real.
First of all, the gas tax revenue is a declining revenue source. It's still going to be a major revenue source for at least the next decade, but the trajectory is down. And then when you add in inflation at 7% a year or whatever, buying power of those dollars goes down. So to say we need more revenue to maintain the current infrastructure, I think is correct.
Metzger just does not want it to come through tolling. Representative Susan McLean is the current co-chair of the Joint Transportation Committee in the Oregon legislature.
Are you concerned about the falling revenue from the gas tax?
Well, that's absolutely why we've been spending, as a co-chair, why we've been spending hours and years, at least in the last 3 to 4 years, trying to get ahead of it, trying to really make sure we have lots of options to look at.
The last big transportation spending package passed by Oregon's legislature was back in 2017. That's the one that included tolling, although it was kind of under the radar for the most part back then. The next big one coming up looks like it'll be in 2025. In the meantime, the state will increase fees that you pay at the DMV. Here's a few of the bigger increases. Getting a driver's license for the first time now costs $54, but when this budget passes, it's going to go up to $58. Not huge, but it's something. Renewing your license is $34 now, but it will be $48. Getting a commercial driver's license currently costs $75. That's going to go up to $160. Getting that commercial license renewed is now $55, but that will go up to $98. If you need to take a skills driving test, by the way, the current price is $9. That's going to go up to $45. So you can see the agency is doing whatever it can to make up for that falling income. And while the collection of tolls has been put on hold, it is far from off the table. Both ODOT and Oregon lawmakers consider it a valuable way to bring in money for that agency.
There's a lot of other tools. I know you have done programs on tolling, and so tolling is also one of the tools that we've been looking at over about an 8-year span, and we continue to see that as one of the tools, not the tool necessarily, but one of the tools that could modernize and help us with all these responsibilities that you and I've just talked about.
Okay. And even though the tolling, I know the governor issued that moratorium for a year, I believe, before the collection of tolls, is ODOT still kind of putting in the back end pieces to be ready to go in a year?
We asked for that to be started, in 2017, as far as the legislature in the 2017 transportation package. And so, yes, they are on scale, or they are on calendar or schedule to actually go forward with that work.
Representative McLean warned that delaying tolling will slow some current big projects like the expansion of Highway 217 and 205, maybe even the Abernathy Bridge. She also said the future will likely hold some sort of a tax that all drivers will pay based on the number of miles they drive each year. It's all part of the near future as ODOT and lawmakers try to figure out how to keep the money coming in as the gas tax begins to fade away. So what do you think about these likely fee hikes at the DMV? Do you have other ideas, other thoughts on how ODOT could bring in more money to maintain the roads and bridges? Send us an email, will you? The address is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a voicemail, 503-226-5090.